I think this is on. Welcome. Hello, everyone, to a new episode of Talking About with your host, Radek Latra. Um, Today, we're going to be talking about Fred, the movie. For some reason, um, I don't know why, but a lot of you guys just really wanted me to make a video about Fred, the movie. Of all things, I am completely baffled as to why or how you guys even remember the movie Fred, like or just the character in general. Like he was pretty popular on like YouTube in like what like 2010, and so now like what 11 years later, like no one remembers him. People just remember him as like one of the people from the annoying Orange era. Everything was just in your face, annoying, and just so stupid. But kids liked it, so I guess they made a fucking TV show out of Annoying Orange. And with Fred, not only did they make a movie, they made three movies and a TV show. So, like, why Fred? God. Okay, well, enough complaining about me having to do this. Let's actually talk about the movie itself. Um, it currently has like I think like a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty bad. But does it deserve it? Kinda, yes. I I did not like this movie. I don't really have that much to say about it if I'm being perfectly honest. I just I'm it's such a confusing rabbit hole mess of just nothing. Like I watch it and I keep on staring at it and trying to make some sense out of it, but it's so like horrendous, and there was no passion in this movie at all. No one cared about it. I believe there was like this clip where Lucas Cruikshank, who plays Fred and created the character of Fred, he talks about his experience in the movie and how it's just a blur, like it's just like a blur in his mind. He may remember like little bits and pieces, but he cannot fully remember. It's like Fred takes over him. It's like he's the fucking Hulk, and I think that's what happened with every single person involved with this movie. There was no effort in it at all. It's the music's terrible. It looks bland. The jokes are awful, and the editing is weird. No one cares. I don't care. But there's only like a couple things I actually have to say about it, and I guess let's talk about them. First of all, the worst thing about this movie is the ending. So basically, the whole plot of this movie is that Fred has this crush on this girl who doesn't even know that he exists, and then throughout the whole movie, he has to get to her house, and then it turns out, oh, she has a party and didn't invite him, and then he storms out, gets really mad, and then he has a two-person party with his next-door neighbor, Bertha, played by the girl from iCarly, not iCarly, not the other one. Um, and I expected, okay, so Bertha and Fred they're gonna get together, and it'll be a whole thing like, oh, love was there all along, but you just weren't looking in the right direction or some bullshit. But no, they couldn't do that because I don't fucking know. Uh, because I honestly don't know. So so basically, the crush comes back to Fred's house and apologizes for being an asshole to him, and then they get together, which makes no sense because that's not at all what they set up. Like you set up everything to go a certain direction for 90% of the movie, and then in the last scene, you just change it all. You just say, yeah, well, fuck that. Let's just have this for no reason. This isn't good writing, okay? This is writing 101. If you set something up, pay it off. There is payoff, I guess, but it's payoff to like a different movie. It reminds me of the ending to Scott Pilgrim versus the World, where um, Scott Pilgrim, I think in the original ending, he was meant to end up with Knives Chow, but then test audiences didn't like that, so he ended up with the blue-haired chick. And uh, it just in that movie, it felt a little weird. It felt like, oh, I mean, okay, I guess, but it's a little it it's if the ending isn't as good as the rest of the movie. And I think that's what happened with this movie with Fred. But I'm not sure cuz knowing the writers, knowing what they've written up to that point, they're completely incompetent at writing anything meaningful or substantial. So they just were like, "Oh fuck, what do we write? What the fuck do we write? Like, uh, uh, yeah, fuck it. Let's just have Fred end up with the blonde girl. I don't know. Maybe they um they probably wrote it in like a day. I bet. And this movie drags on and on. It's only like an hour and a half, but it feels so fucking long. Oh my God. I don't know what it is, but sometimes just really short movies can drag on and on and on. And then there are some long movies that just go by like that, like that. I can't really snap my fingers. I'm not really good at that, so just pretend that my fingers snap it really well. But the pacing is so off, and I just wanted it to end. I wanted to kill myself by the end, and I just what the fuck was that?
Hey, it's Fred!
What the
Hey, it's
fuck?
Fred!
Wait, what the fuck?
Hey, it's Fred!
The deep political and emotional themes littered throughout Fred the movie make it a deep, philosophical, and challenging film that still holds up to this very day. An example of this is when Fred refuses to go into the woods and ends up causing his friend to get lost in the woods. It is a metaphor on how 9/11 was an inside job. I love the ending where Fred ends up with his crush who doesn't know he exists, because movies aren't about character arcs, they're about pee jokes. Neat to watch is a term I'd use to describe Fred the movie. The Holocaust is a myth. Help is something the screenwriters did not need, as they wrote one of the as they wrote one of do it.